punk music, man. Punk. So 94, like punk really takes a step forward into like the mainstream radio, and largely because of two albums. And the first one was Green Day's major label debut album, Dookie. The album went diamond. It's crazy because, like, reading a little bit about it, like all their fans, like the OG fans were. So I just used OG and Banger in one show. What is happening to me? People were calling them a sellout for like going to a major label. It's like, that's the whole thing of like the punk industry that you're just like, what the hell?
They're really cruel and harsh, the punk rockers. I am too, though. I have my issues with Green Day. Now, when Green Day came out, I was already listening to punk. I was listening to the Ramones. I was listening to Clash. I was listening to Sex Pistols. Now, all these albums have a production on them that sound punk rock. Now, when Green Day came out, they came out with this overproduced album that sounds fucking amazing. I'm sorry, that's not punk.
I could not agree with
value.
I couldn't agree with you more. That I don't put them in the same stratosphere as the Ramones and the Clash and the Sex Pistols.
No, because it's just the production value sounds too good. Like, the Ramones tried to sound a certain way. The 70s had great recording studios and shit, but they wanted to sound a certain way.
I mean, if you made a big timeline of punk music and like the Sex Pistols and the Ramones are on one side and like Avril Lavigne is on the other, Green Day is more towards the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, but they're not. Yeah, they're not that far extreme of it.
I really dig them. I think Trey Cool is a great drummer. He's unbelievable. I think Joey, what's his name? Billy Joe
Armstrong.
Yeah, Billy Joel.
Right.
He's a great songwriter. I love American Idiot. That's my favorite. That's the only Green Day album I ever bought. And I have it on vinyl. That's the only time I ever bought a Green Day album. I think they're great. They're a rock and roll band. They're not a punk band. Why? Because he dyes his hair. Like, I remember watching their 94 Woodstock performance, and he's up on stage and he's pointing around. He's like, look, that guy's a punk rocker. And he's telling everybody that he is, and I'm like, that's what you are, motherfucker. I'm a punk rocker and I tell everybody that I am.
But they've also been around for 30 years, right? They're still making music that gets a lot of airplay.
They even made a Broadway play, man.
Right. What's more punk rock than that?
I don't know.
I totally remember the first time I heard that album. I remember there was like a staff meeting at the record store, and we had to come in like a Sunday morning before it opened. And the manager was like, we have to play this. And it was like a cassette tape and put it in. And it was like, turned it up. We had a kick-ass sound system in the store, like turned it up as loud as it would go and be like, this is so fucking awesome. And I was like, oh, it was okay. I was digging it. I was never like oh my God, I love Green Day. I don't think there's many times I turn them on while I'm, I want to listen to something, but I totally understand the impact that they had.
I love Basket Case. I'm basically more for the drums than anything.
Let's hear it.
All right.
Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just up? I went to a shrink to analyze my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down.
Great song.
Great
song. It just seemed like everybody followed their blueprint after them. And then a billion bands sounded like the same production value as they did. And that's when you came out bands like Sum 41 and Blink 182. And, and the list goes on and on and on. The 90s, late 90s punk was at its worst, bro.
Well, that's like, when grunge breaks and then there's all those like second tier, third tier grunge bands come running in.
Yeah.
And same with alternative 90s bands, right? For every, you've got the top tier like Weezer, and then you've got like Tonic and Seven Mary 3 and all those other bands that had like one song.
Yeah.
And Green Day did that to punk music.
They brought it into them all. They took it out of the sewer.
That's a great way to put it.
They took it out of the sewer and brought it into the mall.
That's a great analogy.